My name's Charlie Adlard. I'm a comic book artist, primarily for The Walking Dead.
I've been a fan of his artwork for a very long time. You know, I've been collecting The Walking Dead since it first came out, you know, so I remember when he first started on that.
I love Charlie Adlard's work, great, been on since issue 1, loving it, love the artwork, couldn't wait to get here, had to wait, travel about 9 hours to get here for it, but yeah, been loving it.
I've actually got his artwork tattooed on my leg. His actual artwork on my actual leg itself, going all the way around.
I love the artwork.
The artwork, to get to meet him, to see his passion.
Charlie does an amazing job.
I'm always looking to do something different out of The Walking Dead. I always like to make people aware that I did have a career before The Walking Dead and I did do other stuff. The opportunity of working on a music magazine, doing a cover of whatever it might be, was very appealing to me. And then the idea just seemed to snowball, and all of a sudden Alex was telling me that we could meet with Corey Taylor of Slipknot and talk about doing a cover specifically featuring them.
We moved around a lot, so my mom always had this like the ratty stack of comics that she just kind of had, you know, so I actually kind of learned how to read by reading comics, you know, so when I was a kid, so that kind of got me into it, and I've just been into it ever since, you know. I became a huge collector. I've still got a bunch of stuff from when I was younger, and I continue to collect. I started collecting Walking Dead right when it came out.
Oh, right.
So I've got, not only do I have all the direct editions, but I've got all the trades and everything. Like me and my friends were huge fans. So probably the first 6 years, like, I mean, I've got, like, before I went on the road and just stopped really, I was like, I gotta get current on everything.
Yeah.
I've got all the original copies of everything. So it's pretty cool to fucking hang with you right now. Like, I was pretty chuffed. I told my friends, I was like, you'll never fucking believe what I'm doing. And they're like, no fucking way.
It's the most unremarkable story about how I got to draw it, because I knew Robert from before, and he just emailed me out of the blue and just said, if you fancy drawing this little comic, have you heard of The Walking Dead? And I immediately went, no. You know? When Robert asked me to draw The Walking Dead, for me it was just a natural extension of what I normally do, just happened to involve zombies.
The story, the artwork, I mean, everything about that comic is great, you know, because it's not about, it's honestly, to me, it's not about the flash and like how far you can take the artwork. It's about the story, you know, and the artwork lends itself to the story, and it's such a human story that you can't help, like, if you're into like the writing and everything, you can't help but get drawn into it, and that's what I love about it.
I wouldn't have been drawing it for 130 plus issues.
Right.
Yeah, if it was just about the zombie apocalypse, it wouldn't have lasted.
I don't think it would have. No, absolutely.
20 issues, and that would have been it.
And that's quality, though. You know, I mean, it's why quality stuff sticks around as long as it does. You know, it's why a comic like The Walking Dead has that longevity. When the TV show really started to take off, like, how did that make you feel? Like, I mean, how was that? Did you get, like, naturally, like, holy shit, what the hell's going on here? Like, when it really became a part of the zeitgeist, what was that like?
We literally went through the whole process for about 2 years. The thing collapsed completely, and I remember, and we were so close. I remember Robert sending me an email going, "This is it. This is the one. We're gonna be a TV show." Blah blah blah. And it's like, oh, cool, you know.
Yeah.
And the whole thing collapsed, and then, I mean, I wasn't upset because we were doing all right as a comic, and I was making a decent living, you know, etc., etc. So, and I just thought, oh well. You know, it was almost like that, you know, if it becomes a show, it becomes a show. If it doesn't, I'm happy, I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then it did. Again, another gradual process. And then, of course, that goes up by increments.
Yeah.
So there was never that one moment where you just thought, shit, bloody hell, it's a phenomenon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally.
You know?
And I'm the same way. Like, I'm seriously, and almost like that whole story of where it got picked up and then dropped. That was just like us. We were going to get signed with Sony before Roadrunner. And they came and saw a showcase that we were doing, and they fucking freaked out. They were like, like, and that was, and we've talked about this in the press. There was a direct quote from the head of A&R. He was just like, if this is the future of music, I don't want to be alive. Like, for real. That was the quote. We have the piece of paper. And so when we went platinum on the first album, we sent him a bunch of dead roses. Yeah, and basically said, we are the future of music. We want you dead. There you go. And it was just fucking brilliant. So, I mean, we had all our eggs in one basket. Ross had already signed on to produce us and everything. And it just, like a flan, man. I mean, flat. And we were just like, you know, I had fucking left my job. I'd gone on hiatus because we were going to go record the album. And then luckily Roadrunner came and saw it. Like, they finally came back in because they had been kind of in and out watching everything, you know, before I was even in the band. And they came and they were like, okay, we'll take a chance on you. We'll see what happens. And I don't even think they knew what was going to happen. We certainly didn't.
Being a music fan, I'm aware of Slipknot. I've seen what they do, so I'm aware of their look and everything. So yeah, so that wasn't a shock. I wasn't like, oh my god, look, they're all in masks and ooh. We're both kind of brothers in a sort of a niche industry. Yeah, you don't get, like, for instance, when I'm talking about the connection with music and comics, you don't get many pop stars coming out as, you know, like mainstream pop stars coming out. Oh yeah, I'm a real geek. I read, you know. It tends to be the more alternative. Whether it's it's
the kids with the imagination. Yeah, and sorry to say, but a lot of pop music doesn't have a lot of fucking imagination. Sorry, let me just wipe that off my face. But yeah, no.
No, it is probably because we're used to being kind of always ridiculed as an art form, unless you go to France, where you're hailed as some sort of artistic god, and they do call it the ninth art. So good old France.
Yeah, we were kind of, you know, cracking and popping back and forth, like throwing good ideas, and we did something where, you know, we obviously have to make sure that Hammer was, you know, kind of on the front, but just in the background, all of these like band names, maybe even spaced out, where it just looks like there's shading going on, right? Like it's.
I mean, to be honest, I think if you're going to do something like that, I think it would be probably better if it was just you guys rather than like loads of other. I mean, you do have a unique image.
We do.
As the band.
I mean, and there's enough of us that you could definitely get the spread. If we did the front cover as a, I think if we did the front cover as a gatefold, and then the back could be the advert. You know, we do something like that instead of doing it wrap around. That way, nobody's stuck in the spine.
Because the thing is, then what I could do is I wouldn't have to crowd 9 of you into the front cover.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd work as long as we can get them to kind of to be into that.
Yeah, you're the editor. You just say.
I'm the bloody fucking editor. Come on. My way is law. Shit.
What I came out of a really fun chat with Corey, and admittedly we didn't actually get much work done, was what I latched onto out of the band and their image is not only the obvious thing like the masks and the boiler suits and everything, but what I couldn't get out of my head was the amount of band members. Suddenly I started thinking of repetitive images, and you know, the Andy Warhol, Marilyn Monroe's or Campbell Soup Can sort of images came straight into my head, and I thought, oh, what would be really cool and really distinct, and also not particularly associated with rock or heavy metal music, would be to do a really, really bright sort of screen printed style repetitive image of the band members, to almost say, look, there's a lot of them in this band, here's loads of images of that band. I drew physically each band member in their costumes, so I've got 9 drawings of the band. Everything else was done digitally. I just found it easier that way. The interior image, which is a painted piece of actually Corey turning towards the camera, That was actually digitally painted, which I've never done before. So that was an interesting experiment to see if I can actually digitally paint as opposed to get the acrylics or watercolours out. So I reckon probably if I lumped it all together, it'd probably been 2 or 3 days' work.
I got to see some of the stuff that he's drawn. I'm like, dude,